All right, I'm going to work out the delimiters problem. I bet I'm going to get interrupted and my dog's going to go crazy. So we'll see what happens. You have to read this over. I'm not going to walk you through the whole thing in great detail, but a delimiter is something like parentheses in math, and they have to come in pairs. So this line, they're balanced. This line, they're not. There's one more open delimiter, then there's a close. If you've ever coded in HTML, there's these different symbols. So a delimiter doesn't have to be a single character. It could be 3 characters or 4 characters. But we don't care about what's valid or not valid right now. We're just being passed. We're being passed a string array of tokens, and we're going to return an array list with just the delimiters in it. All right. So this, for example, if we were passed this list of tokens, we're going to return an array list that just has these delimiters in it. We ignore the ones that are not delimiters. So here's the same thing for another example. So here we go. You would think that when I said copy here, that it would have copied it, but I must not have done copy. Okay. So we're going to return an array list, and we're getting this array full of tokens. And let's make the array list that we're going to return. Array list string. I'm going to just call it temp equals new array list string. These are strings after all. These delimiters. And we're going to go through all the tokens that are in this. Somehow I missed the close paren here. So let's do a for each loop. For string t for token in tokens. And we're going to just say, hey, if it's either the opening or closing delimiter, then we're going to add it to the array list. So if t dot equals open delimiter or t dot equals close delimiter, then we're going to add it, temp dot add t. And then after the for loop, we're going to return temp. See, this method asks for an array list to be thrown back. Let's just peek back. You assume this thing's already been created. See, there's an open delimiter, closed delimiter, private variables. The constructor's right here. It goes ahead. You send over an open and a closed delimiter, and it stores them. That's how I knew about those variables in that part. Okay, and then part B says this is a Boolean method, and it receives an array list of delimiters, and it's going to return true if it's balanced and false if it's not. And so there's 2 rules that we care about, but let me just get this started first. All right, so there's 2 rules we care about. Rule 1, when traversing the array list from the first to the last, there's no point at which there are more closed delimiters than open delimiters at that point. So I think we're going to have to count how many of each there are. We can do that by making a open count, equals 0, and close count equals 0. Okay, so then let's go through all the delimiters in here. So I'm going to do an enhanced for loop again. For string, I'm going to say del in delimiters. All right, now we'll say if del dot equals open del, then we're going to say open count plus plus. And if del dot equals close delimiter close count plus plus, right? And now we're going to check if at any point you can't have any more close delimiters than you can have open delimiters. You know, that's right, because you have an open and a close, and then an open and open and open and a close, close, close. But you can't have an open and then a close and a close and a close. You know, I mean, they have to, the close can't ever be more than an open in a valid expression. So right here, we're going to add this check. If close count greater than open count, we're going to return false. This is one way to get out of this method. We know we failed at this point. Just anywhere along the way, if there's more closes than there are opens, you know that the thing's bad. Okay, but then also at the very end, and they did tell us, the second rule is the total number of opens is equal to the total number of closes. So after we've gone through this for loop, we can just check if open count is the same as close count, return true, and then otherwise return false. You could say else return false, or you can just say return false. And the truth is, you could also instead, not also, but instead, you could just say return open count equal close count, which is going to return true or false, you know, depending on whether that's true or false. So I kind of like that one. But you could do the if, and you can do an if and else. There you go, folks. I hope it helped.